Okay, good afternoon everyone and welcome back to your biology class. And today I will continue with the chapter life processes. That is, in my previous class I have completed the photosynthesis part. That means autotrophic mode of nutrition I have completed. So today I will start with the heterotrophic mode of nutrition, and particularly I will focus the holozoic mode of nutrition. So what is the today's topic is the heterotrophic nutrition. So what is the meaning of heterotrophic nutrition and what are the different types? Already I have discussed in one class, that is heterotrophic mode of nutrition means the mode of nutrition in which organisms cannot prepare their own food. They are dependent on the others for that food. Okay, so there we get that each organism is adapted in the environment and they are getting different types of food. They are as the different types of different food types are available around us, different food materials, and their obtaining process is also different in different animals. Okay, so for example we have seen that if we consider the cow, they will take the grass as their food. If we consider the lion, they will take the animal product as their food. Like whatever I want to tell you, that there are different carnivorous, those which are taking the plant products as their food. Some are herbivorous, which are taking the plant products as their food. Some are carnivorous, which are taking the animal products as foods, and some are omnivorous, which are taking the plant and animal both as their food. So we are getting some differences between the cow and the lion in respect to their food, right? So some other examples are there, like fungi, mushrooms. They are performing saprophytic mode of nutrition, and some other organisms which are dependent on the others. They are getting their food from with or without killing the other organism. These are called as parasitic mode of nutrition. And example, cuscuta, ticks, mites, tapeworms. So there are the different ways which can be found under the holozoic mode of nutrition, and by the different ways they are performing different functions for getting their nutrition, right? So under the heterotrophic mode of nutrition, today I will focus with the holozoic mode of nutrition. So what is the meaning of holozoic mode of nutrition? In this particular mode of nutrition, organisms are taking solid particles as their food. Okay. So under this holozoic mode of nutrition, we will find different steps. So what are they? First one is ingestion. First step is ingestion. So what is the meaning of ingestion? Ingestion means intake of food in complex form. So food, whatever we are getting from the outside or from the environment, that one will be in the complex form. Okay. So first, whatever we are intaking, we are taking it in the complex form, and this process is called as ingestion. That means intaking of food. What is the next process? So this complex form cannot be absorbed by our body. This complex form cannot be utilized by the body. So it needed to be convert into the simple one, right? So next step is digestion. So digestion means by the depend on by enzymes. So, by the help of the different enzymes which are present in our body or the other organisms which are performing the holozoic mode of nutrition, so this with the help of the enzyme, this complex food which has been taken will be converted into the simple form. Okay, and this process is called as digestion. So, after the ingestion, we will find the digestion process. Next, third step is absorption. So, the food which has been broken down into simple one will be absorbed by our body. Okay, for proper growth and maintenance, this process is called as absorption. Next step is assimilation. So, the absorbed food needed to be utilized. So, the utilization of the digested food by the body. Sorry, by the body. This process is called as assimilation. Okay, after absorbing the food will be utilized by our body and this step is called as assimilation. And come to the last point, that is so at the end what will happen, some food will be in undigested condition. So the undigested food will need to be removed from the body and this process is called as egestion. Okay, so these are the different steps which will come under the holozoic mode of nutrition. So I am repeating. What are the different steps? First one is ingestion, after that digestion, after that absorption, after that assimilation, and at the end we are getting the egestion. So first we will intake the food in the solid form. After that, with the help of the enzymes that can be released from different organs in our body, the complex food will be broken down into simple one and this simple food will be absorbed by our body and that one will get utilized by our body and ultimately the undigested food which are not required by the body, that will be released from the body. Okay, so these are the different steps of the holozoic mode of nutrition. Now first we have to see some examples, some unicellular organism and some multicellular organism. First we will see the examples of some unicellular organism like amoeba and paramecium, and after that we have to read about the nutrition in human beings. So first what we will read, nutrition in amoeba. So this is the diagram of a amoeba, right? So first this is the nucleus of the amoeba. As you can see that amoeba is not having the definite shape, so they are having some finger like projections which are called as pseudopodia or false feet. So these are the pseudopodia or false feet. So first step, what is the first step? First step is the ingestion. Okay, so how ingestion will take place in the amoeba? So the if food particles is there outside their body, they will form this type of finger-like projections which are called as pseudopodia or false feet, and they will cover up the food, and this is called as phagocytosis or endocytosis, as they are engulfing the food, what we can call it, that phagocytosis or endocytosis. So after that a food vacuole will be formed, and so this is the ingestion process, that means food is taken inside the body. So next come to the digestion process. So in digestion will be intercellular digestion. Some enzymes will be released from the lysosomes into the food vacuole. So they are forming a food vacuole inside which food will be there, and their enzymes will be released by the lysosome inside the food vacuoles, and the complex food will be converted into the simple one. So this is the digestion process. Next, the digested food will diffuse to the cytoplasm. So the digested food after that will diffuse to the cytoplasm. Okay. So this is the absorption process. Now come to the assimilation process, that is that food which is in the cytoplasm that will be utilized by the amoeba for now, or they can store it for the later use. Okay. And at the end, the undigested food again will be released from the body of the amoeba through the cell membrane. Okay. And this process is, as they are unicellular, this process is taking place through the diffusion process. Okay, so this is the nutrition that can be found in the amoeba particularly. Okay, so in the amoeba, first we have seen the ingestion, digestion, absorption, assimilation and ingestion. First they will form the pseudopodia. With the help of that they will engulf the food, and they will form a food vacuole. Enzymes will be released from the lysosome. It will get digested and absorbed and utilized by the body, and undigested food will be released from the body. Okay, that is how the nutrition in amoeba is taking place. Okay. Now, next one you have to know about the nutrition in paramecium. So I will draw a diagram of paramecium. So this is the rough diagram of a paramecium. Okay, is paramecium looks like a shoe sole. The body is shoe sole shape. So outside the body of the paramecium, some projections that can be found, which are called as small finger-like projections, which are called as cilia. And at the tube end, we will find the contractile vacuole. So what is the function of contractile vacuole? Contractile vacuole will help in the osmoregulation. Okay, helps in the osmoregulation. Now you will find that they are having two nucleus, micronucleus, and this cavity is called as buccal cavity, and this is the food vacuole that is forming and moving like that, and after that it will get ejaculated. So now how in the paramecium food get entered? So with the paramecium, you can see that in the body of the paramecium, a numerous cilia are present. So paramecium bears small hair-like cilia which creates a water current. Okay, with the help or with the beating of that small cilia, they will create a water current, and this water current will push the food particle into the body. Okay, the food may be algae, maybe yeast. So the different food particles will get inserted through that. This portion through which they will get inserted is called cytoplasm. Okay, it is called a cytoplasm. So this is the process by which ingestion in the paramecium is taking place, and after that the process is same. Food vacuole will be formed and the enzymes will be released. So you can see that this is the process. So digestion will take place. After that assimilation, and the undigested food will be released from the body. Okay, so this is the way by which the nutrition is taking place in the amoeba. So this is all about the nutrition in amoeba and paramecium. Now we have to focus in the nutrition in the human beings. So in case of human, for getting the nutrition, we are having a system. We are having a canal which is called as alimentary canal. Alimentary canal. Okay. So what is the alimentary canal? Alimentary canal basically a long tube. Okay. So alimentary canal is basically a long tube extending from the mouth to anus. It is a tube-like structure. Okay. So you have to know that what are the different parts that can be found in the alimentary canal. That means how our food will get entered into the body and how the undigested food will get eliminated. So what will be the first part? So this one is the mouth. First one is the mouth. After the mouth, so food will enter into the alimentary canal through the mouth. After that, it will reach to the buccal cavity. Okay. So first, I am repeating first, the food will enter through the mouth, and then it will reach to the cavity which is present after the mouth is called as buccal cavity. So after the buccal cavity, it will move to the esophagus. After that, from the esophagus, it will move to the stomach, and then small intestine, then large intestine, and after that anus. So what I have told you that alimentary canal is a long tube, and the length of the alimentary canal may vary in different type of organisms, animals. So what is the different parts of the alimentary canal? The food first will be taken through the mouth, then it will reach to the buccal cavity. After that, it will pass to the esophagus. From the esophagus, it will move to the stomach. From the stomach, it will pass to the small intestine. From the small intestine, it will move to the large intestine. Ultimately, it will be the undigested food will be released to the anus. Okay, so these are the different parts of the organs of the alimentary canal, which we have to read in detail. Okay, so what we have to read? We have to know the basic structure, position and function of each. Okay, that means where they are situated, what are the different functions they are performing. Clear? So today I am not starting this part. In my next class, I will start with the mouth, and we'll read about all the organs in detail. Okay, so up to this portion, have you understood everyone? Any queries? Okay, so read this part carefully. In my next class, I will start with the nutrition in human beings. So, for today, that's it. So, please, students who are present, please write down your names and see you in my next class.